Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've seen the video clip that's gone viral, I hear, where Caitlin Clark appears to respond in a negative way to her teammate, Natasha Howard, not passing the ball out to Caitlin. Before I go any further with my commentary, for those of you who did not see it, I want you to see it right now, and then we'll get to it. So no sound. We'll just look at it all the way through first, and then I'll stop and talk about it. Okay, so you saw it first. Now I'll talk a little bit through it. Caitlin's bringing the ball up. Natasha Clout is on her. She gives it to Aaliyah. And then Caitlin goes off a screen set by Natasha Howard. She then screens Sabrina Ionescu so Kelsey Mitchell could curl around. Aaliyah Boston gets it to Caitlin. Caitlin steps back, long on the three. Aaliyah Boston's able to get the rebound. Aaliyah does not think, I guess, to get it to Caitlin. As you can see right here, only Caitlin. If you can see my pointer here, you see that nobody is in front of Caitlin. So Aaliyah has a direct path to Caitlin. Instead, she gives the ball to Natasha. And now Caitlin is still available. And so Aaliyah didn't get it to her. And then Natasha Howard doesn't get it to her because Cloud is all the way over here. But instead, Howard goes 1, 2, 3 dribbles, right? Then she's going to do like this left, right thing, kind of like, you know, when you try to shake someone out of their shoes. So she does that. Then she does this step through move. And then she makes the layup. And you could see Caitlin not happy through the process. So we were looking at I was looking at Natasha Howard there. Now we're going to look at Caitlin. So again, Caitlin was calling for the ball, didn't get it. She sees Howard doing all this stuff to try to get to the basket. Her hands go up in frustration, apparently. Then they go down. You can see her mouth is saying something there. Hands go back up and they go down again. And then the 2 points. And so she kind of just goes on her way. You could see even then when she turns, she's frustrated. Okay. So all the body language experts, in air quotes, will tell you that really bad body language Caitlin. They're going to tell you that Caitlin should not look like that. It was obvious to everyone watching. They'll tell you that Caitlin was extremely, extremely annoyed. She looked selfish. It was an overall bad look. They're going to tell you all those things. But I'm going to give you my perspective. And then I'm going to tell you what the body language experts have not told you. I agree that the body language was not good. I agree that if you're going to lead a team, you have to be mindful of those kinds of things. We all remember, I imagine, maybe you didn't know, that when Caitlin was at Iowa, Lisa Bluter and Jan Jensen would actually show Caitlin video footage of her body language because her teammates look up to her. Her teammates know that she's otherworldly in her talent, and they want to perform well for the team, but they want to perform well in front of Caitlin Clark as well. And so when you are overly demonstrative in your expressions, it has an impact on them. And so they worked with her on that. And sometimes you don't know it unless you see it. So that was something that they used that helped to show her that. I have coached high schoolers and I have had players whose body language was just terrible. And I've had to say, you can't do that. But I also have to acknowledge a couple things here, or a few things. I don't know how many things. Before I tell you what the body language experts won't tell you. And that is that if you look at Kobe Bryant, if you look at Michael Jordan, and even LeBron James, the greats of the game, I didn't say the goods, but the greats of the game, the folks, I don't even know. I put LeBron James in this. I don't even know if this is LeBron because I'm not a big LeBron James fan. So I watched MJ, I watched Kobe, and I watched how they maneuver. I watched how this was a passion for them, how it wasn't just what they did in terms of basketball. They saw it as who they were. Those kinds of players are built differently. Those kinds of players are in the gym when no one else is. Those kinds of players want to win. And those kind of players, those who play with Kobe and MJ will tell you it was sometimes hard because they were just on a whole different level in terms of intensity. And in the game time situation, even in practice, you better come and you better bring it. So I get that, right? Caitlin is a competitor like no other, I'm sure, on her team and in the WNBA. And so in that moment, that passion rises up and it comes out and things like that. It happens. Do I like it? No, I don't. And I have a feeling that Caitlin, after the fact, when she would see that, would likely say the same thing. It's the heat of the moment, and likely would say, I'll do better next time, because that's your teammate, and you don't want to show her up. And that's not what she was trying to do. But again, in the heat of the moment. So most people who understand sports understand what that was right there. And hopefully Natasha Howard does also. And I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have a moment together where Caitlin was like, I was caught up in it, no, not a problem. And you keep it moving, because that's how it goes. And you have to consider the circumstances. Caitlin Clark is on fire in this game. And if you know anything about basketball, you've heard the expression, feed the hot hand. Caitlin had the hot hand. She's dropping threes. She's doing all kinds of stuff. And when she calls for the ball, in that situation, you give her the ball. Now, I can understand Aaliyah Boston looking toward the basket, because when you're dealing with people other than Caitlin Clark, you always say, I want to get a high percentage shot. So giving it to a player near the paint is not usually a bad thing. But Caitlin Clark shooting threes, particularly when she's on fire, is a high percentage shot. You give her the basketball. So that was one, because Aaliyah Boston did not do that. And again, not a big deal, right? But Aaliyah Boston should have given Caitlin the ball because she had a clear view of her. Natasha Howard had a clear view of Caitlin at first. Now, then, of course, Natasha Cloud got over there, but Caitlin was there calling for the ball. And so the frustration is, I'm on fire. I'm hot. Give me the ball. Give me the rock and get out of the way. That's what I used to say. Give me the rock and get out of the way. So you have to understand that in terms of basketball, that's a high percentage shot for Caitlin Clark. But be that as it may, people are talking about the body language, and they have a point. But now I'm going to tell you what the body language experts have not told you. And that's this. For those who want to be extra hard on Caitlin in this situation, how many times have Caitlin's teammates messed up point blank shots off of pinpoint passes? How many assists have they blown for Caitlin? How many times? I'm not even just talking about last season. I'm talking about this season, and I'm talking about that last game on Saturday. How many times did Caitlin deliver the pass where it's supposed to be, and they did not deliver? And yet she did not blow up. What do we see Caitlin doing with her teammates? We see Caitlin, it's all right, high five, give them some dap, pat them on the back, encourage them, let them know how amazing they are. So there have been plenty of opportunities where Caitlin could have completely blown up. And what does she do? Time and time and time again. She encourages her teammates. She pats them on the back. She encourages them. We're in this together. We're a team. She continues to pass them the basketball. So I think that we have to keep this in perspective. The body language experts are only going to tell you what they saw. They're not going to comment on the things that we have never seen from Caitlin, because she has consistently encouraged and her teammates and has been a good teammate. And it goes both ways. There are times when Caitlin turns the ball over, and it's not because they didn't catch the pass or whatever, and they encourage her as well. That's what teams are for. And for those who say, well, she's just so selfish, this is a player who's averaging like close to 10 assists per game. Last season, blown up the league in assists. This is a player where we're like, you need to be more selfish. You need to be less unselfish, because she wants to get her teammates involved. She's a facilitator as well as a scorer, and she is not a selfish player, because she had that display there in the game, a game in which she was hot and should have had the ball in her hand. So grace really is the order of the day, because there are countless times where she could have blown up and simply kept it moving and kept her teammates encouraged, because that's the kind of player she is. Do I like the body language? I'll repeat, I don't. And it's a growing opportunity. I understand it. I say we work on that. If I'm the coach, I'm saying something. In fact, if I'm the coach, I really shouldn't have to say that. These are professional athletes. That's a conversation between her and Natasha Howard. She probably went to Natasha, said, I just was fired up. And if I am the coach and I'm saying something to her, I'm saying, okay, keep in mind, like Lisa Bluter and Jan Jensen would do, keep in mind, your players are looking up, our players are looking up to you, and, keep work on that body language. I appreciate the fire. Because remember what they used to say, you don't want to quench the fire. The same fire that causes her to go out there, work harder than anyone, hit those threes like she did right off of injury, pass the ball like she does right off of injury, like she never missed a beat. The same fire that allows her to do that is the same fire that sometimes manifests itself in the way that we saw on Saturday. So you have to take the good with the what you might consider not so good, and things that need to be shored up. But this is a team. A lot of people are latching on to this. So I wanted to comment on it. There are lots of times she could have had a much wilder display. They'll grow together from it. They've already moved on from it, I imagine. I hope. Either way, I appreciate the fire, and I'm sure there's grace for the rest. And as a person who's coached people who were fired up like that, and I've had to have a conversation or two, and at the same time, not wanting to put out their fire because they are fierce competitors, I get that. When I was in high school, I remember I was like, man, other people go out there and they end up almost fighting the other team. Me, I was yelling at my own teammates. Not good. I had to work on that too, right? But at the end of the day, we're teammates. We all have the same goal. We're growing together. That's the way it is. That's the nature of sports. Well, I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.